This week we catch up with Agatha Harkness, as well as some other things going on in the MCU. We also look at the next episode of The Penguin and talk about other rumors floating around in the DCU. There's a little bit of Star Wars news, as well as some sad news out there in the world of entertainment. Welcome to the Infinite Taylorverse. Warning.
Red alert.
Ay, 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 ay!
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger!
That's the emergency alert. This episode is full of spoilers for some of the latest and greatest nerdy movies and shows.
Spoilers.
Listener discretion is advised. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Infinite Taylorverse podcast. I'm Billy Taylor.
And I'm Taylor Oxman.
And this week, we are back to talk about all the fun things going on out there in the pop culture universe. But before we jump in, Taylor, what have you been nerding out about this week, man?
Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Just finally got around to watching it. The third one's coming out, so I was like, I better watch the second one. So the boy and I, we had kind of a weird morning yesterday, so I kind of spoiled with the boy yesterday afternoon and went to Walmart and we got bought him a new wrestler, and I was like, I'll check out the media section. It gets smaller, I swear, every time I walk in there.
Oh, I know.
But I saw Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for $5, and I was like, well, he hasn't seen the first one yet, and I haven't seen it in a while. So yesterday we watched the first one, and today we watched the second one. So we're all caught up.
Nice. My kids and I really
it's-
like those movies.
Yeah. They're surprisingly really fun. It's weird because growing up, we had the video game movie genre and it was all bad. So to have like good ones, it's so refreshing.
Yeah. And I remember when the first trailers for the first one ever came out, all signs pointing towards cringe, right? And then you actually watch them and
Well,
it's like, oh, it's not
they
so bad.
also changed the way he looked.
Yeah, that's true. They made him look more like a cartoon than some hyper-realistic, creepy hedgehog man.
Yeah, that creepy hedgehog thing. Remember, people went crazy. They were like, it is so ugly. There's no way this movie is going to be any good. And then they redid it, and then the movie did really well. I love it when the fans and the studios actually like, okay.
I love how in that Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers movie that came out on Disney Plus, Bad Sonic was one of the characters in there.
Oh yeah, I forgot about even watching that movie. I want to watch that now. I'm gonna have to watch it.
Have you seen it or not seen it?
No, I haven't.
Oh.
I forgot that it existed because didn't it come out during like the streaming, like when everything was getting streamed instead of like theaters?
I think so, or 1 or 2 years ago. It's came out in the past 2 years, but it's the
Okay.
first movie that reminded me of Who Framed Roger Rabbit in a long time. Just the way
Yeah.
it had all these various characters from all over the place in this one movie.
That's cool.
It's a little more family friendly than Roger Rabbit was when you go back and watch Roger Rabbit, which my parents let me watch as a small kid all the time.
Yeah, I watched it as a small kid too. It's like we watched fairly recently watched the Michael Keaton Batman, the first one.
Uh-huh.
I watched that when I was very tiny.
Yeah,
like
same here.
that movie, we watched it the other night and I was watching, I was like, yeah, I was like 5 or 4, and my wife looked at me, she's like, how old were you when you first saw this? So it's funny because I look at it and I'm just like, oh yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's one of those things where, I don't know, maybe I'm a little more conscious of what my kids watch than my own parents were, or maybe I'm more of a prude. I don't know, who knows? But yeah, I saw Batman from '89 in the theater. It's the first thing I ever saw in the theater, and I was 4 years old. And it would have been 2 or 3 years later for Batman Returns. I think I was 7, so 3 years. Both of those released right around my birthday, and I just loved superheroes and went and saw both of them. But yeah,
Yeah, my
those.
first
Yeah.
movie in theaters was New Hope.
Oh, nice.
The right before they did the reissue, they put them out in theaters again. For
Yep.
I don't know. Yeah, I remember those. And I went and saw it. And what was crazy, when the Death Star exploded, the microwave popcorn thing, I guess, burnt in the lobby of the movie theater, and the fire alarm went off at the same time.
Oh, that's
So
hilarious.
people were like freaking out, but then some people were sitting because like it's part of the movie.
Yeah. That is funny.
It is really funny because we were walking out like the very end, like we already knew it happened. Like the Death Star had just blown up, and it had that wah 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 was the fire alarm going off, and you're just walking out smelling burnt popcorn. It was like the first 4D experience.
That's so funny. Well, for me this week, I am nerding out about a video game. So last week, Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom came out. I had to immediately get it because, again, I don't play a lot of games, but I have to play Zelda games. And I bought it Friday, and us recording right now is Tuesday, and I have, I think, one dungeon left.
Wow,
I grinded that game, and
putting in hours.
I do have to say it's not that difficult. So that I'm sure factors into it. It's very young person friendly. My kids could pick this up and easily understand it and play it.
So it's a Nintendo game.
Exactly, exactly. But having said that, it's very similar in gameplay to the Link's Awakening remastered thing that they put out on Switch a couple years ago.
So is it top down like that?
Yes, sort of. It's that weird angled top down where it looks 3D, but it's sort of top down, if that makes sense.
So like Super Nintendo.
If you can picture exactly what Link's Awakening looked like, but change the angle just a little bit, where it's kind of 3D, but still kind of top down. That's my best
That
description, I
is
guess.
so odd. Is it like when you're side scrolling in like Turtles in Time and you can go like up and down and left and right,
It is kind of like
but
that.
you're kind of seeing it from the bird's eye view still?
Yeah. But this game, imagine taking that little more primitive Zelda style, like the Link's Awakening, but then also adding concepts from like Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild. When you are playing as Zelda, you have this ability to create echoes. That's why it's called Echoes of Wisdom. And you can copy any villain that you defeat. You can copy lots of items like rocks and tables and beds and wooden things. And then you find different ways to build things out of them and use them. And Zelda doesn't control weapons, but she can magically poof, a bad guy that she copied, and that bad guy fights for you. It protects you while you're doing all the puzzles and stuff.
No, like in Smash Bros.
Yeah, kind of like that.
She makes
But
like the knight character.
little bit of a spoiler-ish. After you defeat a certain part of a certain dungeon, you then find Link's sword, and when you activate it, you become an echo of Link. So you do control your sword and arrows and bombs and stuff at that point.
Oh, okay.
But it's limited.
You don't get like a chic makeover at some point or another?
No, not in this game.
That's kind of a bummer.
Yeah. But when you're in that Link Echo form, it's limited. You have a power bar, and if the power runs out, you're no longer Link, and you personally can't fight anymore, and you got to rely on your echoes and stuff to fight for you. So then you got to
Okay.
rebuild your energy. And all in all, it's super fun. 100% recommend it. If you're listening and you're on the fence about it, I would recommend getting it. It's a lot of fun. By next week, I'll have a full game review because I will have beaten it probably honestly by tomorrow.
Right on.
Well, hey, let's jump into the news for this week. So, obviously, with Marvel, we're trucking on along with Agatha all along. And as we stated before, we'll really do a big recap at the end of the series. But I do have to say, this episode, the one thing that really stood out to me was we finally got that magical little name drop that we haven't heard anyone say before. I'm talking about Mr. Underworld, Mr. Mephisto. The name is dropped in this episode. So, we'll see what comes out of that, obviously. And in terms of spoilers, major spoilers, one of the things that people are talking about is, oh, the kid that Joe Locke plays that Agatha only calls Teen because there's a spell causing her not to know his name. Well, there's a lot of speculation. Is he Wiccan? Obviously, that's what all signs lead to. Or is he, what's his name, Nicholas Scratch? Or who is he? Spoiler alert. A new wave of Funko Pops came out, and on the back, it straight up says Wiccan. So
Yeah. Nicholas Scratch is very much I thought that was a long shot of the
yeah. The only thing that made me think, was another scene from episode 3, which we won't get too spoilery about, but it made me doubt the whole Wiccan idea and lean towards the Nicholas Scratch. But then these Funko Pops came out and it says Wiccan. Also, Aubrey Plaza's character, her Funko Pop says Death. So it's the character Death.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's a spoiler alert from the Funkos.
So did you get the vibe that they were together?
I kind of did.
Okay. So that's new.
Yeah, that would be new. But I'm okay with that.
All right.
But we'll see where this show goes. I'm enjoying it quite a bit. That song, Down the Witch's Road, was quite a bop. I've listened to it a bunch of times.
That's funny.
There's a video of Agatha and the whole cast singing it on stage at D23 a couple weeks ago, and it's really cool. If you haven't YouTubed that, you should.
Yeah, Catherine Hahn's great.
Oh, yeah.
If this doesn't give her more of a push in everything else, I'll be upset.
Oh, for real. She needs all the accolades from this.
Yeah.
Another rumor floating around right now is that when we get the Mutant Saga finally, it's going to center around Scarlet Witch. Now, it doesn't say Elizabeth Olsen Scarlet Witch. It just says Scarlet Witch. So I'm anxious to see how they do that, what comes into play, what they change, what they keep. But I like that idea.
Well, it'll be Elizabeth Olsen.
I hope so. I truly hope so.
I really have a hard time believing it wouldn't be unless they just change something altogether. But
Yeah.
if that's the case, then it's gonna revolve around House of M in some way or another.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if it came before Secret Wars, that would make sense. But if it comes after Secret Wars, that's what makes me think, what if they do reboot everything? But yeah, I guess we'll see. Oh, another thing that was kind of a bummer. So the kind of speculated news that Norman Reedus is playing Null, it actually just came out yesterday. It's actually not Norman Reedus, and they're actually keeping the identity of the actor a secret until the movie comes out. So
Oh.
yeah. So bummer that it's not Norman Reedus, but the fact that they're keeping it so secretive makes me wonder who the heck's playing him.
Well, I'm not totally bummed out that he's not playing him because I can see him as other characters in the Marvel Universe, aka maybe a Johnny Blaze or
Yes.
someone over in that area. Maybe
Yep.
even like a Hannibal King or something.
Oh, yep.
But who could it be?
I don't know. And I'm wondering why so secretive if it impacts the greater universe to know who this guy is or something. I don't know.
Well, maybe it's like a big celebrity.
Yeah, that's true too.
Like if we're talking like let's keep it secret because we don't even know that it's like an A-list celebrity, I can see that because that's been done before.
Yeah.
What if it's like Tom Cruise?
That'd be funny because isn't Null pretty big?
Yeah, but it would be all CGI. I can't even imagine you do Null as a non-CGI character.
Yeah.
I mean, his face is kind of distorted looking anyway, and it's like he looks humanoid, and he looks more like a dark elf or some kind of like,
Yeah.
like he has symbiote mouth.
You're right.
Which needs to be a thing.
Yes. Let's see. Deadpool and Wolverine is now available on video on demand, and it should be on Disney Plus by October 22nd. And I saw that along with it, they released a ton of deleted scenes and behind the scenes, and I am very excited to see all that stuff.
Yeah, I wonder what deleted scenes we're gonna get. I wonder if there's like any complete cameos we just didn't get at all.
Yeah. I don't want to outright pay for it right now when it's, 3 weeks down the road, it's on Disney Plus. So I guess I'm going to wait, but I am
I'll
excited to
get a
watch that
physical
stuff.
copy. I'll wind up getting a physical copy of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a definite must have for someone who collects movies.
Yeah.
Such a good one. And this is sort of Marvel related, but not really. But it sounds like Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds have been recruited to host the next Oscars together. So that's kind of fun.
That'll be good. They'll be fun together.
And then the last Marvel thing here is when Secret Wars comes back, it sounds like all signs are leading towards Patrick Stewart is going to show up as Professor Xavier in this movie.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Let that man have a peaceful life. Goodness gracious.
Till he's 90, just like Wolverine.
He already is like a foot away from being the Crypt Keeper. Let's be honest. He looks like his age.
The man gracefully looks his age. You're right.
He does. He looks his age. It's just, it is what it is. I just think at a certain point, it's like, come on, man. We know he's like the perfect person for it, but come on.
Man, I'd love for him to show up at a con one day. I want to meet him.
Yeah, but he's way too good of an actor for that. He like didn't even enjoy being like Jean-Luc Picard for like the first like what 3 or 4 seasons of that show.
Yeah, and then he eventually leaned into it, which is good. Shatner did the same thing. He didn't really enjoy it until he was much older, though.
Yeah, it's same thing with like Tom Welling.
Yeah, I feel like if I ever got a big break for any reason whatsoever, I would just lean in, man. It's okay that someone loves me because I was Kirk or Superman or whoever.
Hey, Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, exactly. Iron Man. We love him because of that.
That man leaned in so hard.
Yeah, he is Iron Man.
He is. honest to God, like, I mean, there's nobody. Like, I was thinking about the other day, I was like, who could, as a young actor, replace him? And I just don't think that person exists.
Yeah, I at least can't picture it right now either.
No, it just does not. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Well, over with the DC side of things, there's a few things. Obviously, Penguin had episode 2, but just like Agatha, we're going to really dive into this stuff towards the end when it's all wrapped up. But I will say that it's getting really good. It is a good crime show. And there's so many, things happening that you don't know what's going to happen. So it keeps you on your toes the whole episode, kind of, holding your breath a little bit because you're nervous and anxious. And then you get the end of
Yeah.
it. And it's funny that, like, the Penguin's a bad guy, but you're kind of on his side in this show. And yeah, I can't wait to see how they wrap this up. And speaking of that whole world, it's rumored right now that regardless of what's been said, that Robert Pattinson's Batman might become the DCU's Batman. So
What?
I read this article this morning, actually. It sounds like there are talks happening that it might become rolled in, especially as they start talking about this Brave and the Bold movie. That's why we've heard nothing and seen nothing, because they can't make up their mind yet. Now, it still might not be that, but it might be that. And I think that's interesting.
I would rather it be that and they just lean in.
Yeah, lean into all the fantastical stuff. They're saying they're trying to keep it realistic, but I want Clayface and I want magic and I want big scary stuff.
I want interdimensional travel by
Yes.
using random bits of metal that doesn't exist in the real world.
Right? I want Batmite.
I,
And
I
with
want
James Gunn, I would
Batman.
not look past that.
I want Batman to wear an all yellow suit and paint a room yellow and then beat the mess out of Green Lantern.
Ooh, if he turns into Parallax, maybe he will.
Parallax is not grounded enough.
Yeah, that's true. Well, let's see. Joker 2 premieres this weekend. I know you're excited to go see it.
Woot. If the are the reviews still as bad as they were when we first got that sneak peek that came through?
I finally saw something positive that I read that the ending is so outrageously twisted and out there that no one saw it coming, and it could potentially lead to something crazy. So I don't know what that is. I don't want to be spoiled because I'll probably see it soon, but that made me go, huh, well, now I got to know what that is. And I also heard that from the director, there's a potential Harley Quinn spinoff to come out of this movie. So we'll see what that means too.
So, just for people who aren't in this community who don't care about these kind of things, I was at my parents' house last weekend because it was my mom's birthday and we were celebrating. And the trailer came on for this Batman movie, Joker movie. And my sister, who hates these kinds of things, looked over at me and she goes, that looks so bad. And I looked at her and I go, it's a musical. And she goes, what? And I go, yeah, it's a musical. Couldn't you tell by the trailer without any singing?
Right.
And then she goes, oh my gosh. She goes, was the first one a musical? I goes, no. She goes, that's right. I saw the first one. That first movie was really upsetting and not good. And I go, wait, what do you mean by not good? Like you hated it, or like you didn't like it personally, or you thought it was a bad movie? She goes, I thought it was a bad movie. And my head just completely like exploded because in my eyes, most people like that thought that that was a good movie.
Yeah, interesting.
So in my head, and in the background of like my sister and brother-in-law who both saw the movie, both of them were just kind of about it, was they're both in the mental health field.
Yeah.
Both of
Oh,
them
yeah.
found it just really off-putting
I could see that. That makes
and
sense.
kind of edgy just to be edgy.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh man, you just gave me like another reason why I don't really like the first movie now. And I rewatched it not too long ago, and I was like, I thought it was a pretty good movie, but then somebody else recently said something like, oh, it's just Taxi Driver.
Right?
It's the same exact movie except Taxi Driver's way better. And
Yeah.
and I go, oh, it is, isn't it? And they go, yeah, it just is a weird Batman paint job on it. So I don't know where I'm at with that movie right now, but I know I don't want to go see that second one. So
I'll volunteer
you
as
have
tribute and keep us
yeah,
all apprised.
I'll let you go. And spoilers, you could just whatever you want.
Well, let's see. They just also announced that over in the DCU, there's a live action Deathstroke and Bane movie in production. I,
Wait,
yeah,
wait, together or like two separate movies?
it's together in the same movie. Now, I don't know if they're teamed up. I don't know if they're opposing each other. I don't know what's up, but it's a live action movie revolving around those two characters is in the works at DCU. So that'll be interesting. They also announced that Alan Tudyk has been cast in an undisclosed role in the new Superman movie, and I
Oh
love
my
Alan
gosh,
Tudyk.
he's Bane.
That would be kind of funny, actually.
No, what if he's Deathstroke?
That'd be less believable because Bane at least blows up with chemicals, right?
What if he's both? What if he's Bane and Deathstroke? What if he's Bane and Deathstroke the movie?
What if he's Bane Stroke or Death Bane?
Ooh, you could make like Bane, but like half of his mask is like blacked out, and like, oh, he might be cool looking actually.
Oh yeah, idea. This is a con commission
Or it's
idea.
just Deathstroke with like a bunch of venom, really. I mean, they're kind of the same character once you sort of. Has it happened already? Has Deathstroke ever had a bunch of venom in him?
I
I
don't
don't
know,
know.
but see if we can bring that to
I'm
life. Let's see. The last thing I have for DC is we are so close to the 2 hour season 4 premiere of Superman and Lois. That comes out October 7th. So by the time you guys are listening to this, it's going to be Monday night. So I'm so pumped. It's such a good show. Cannot wait to see the final season. I'm bummed that it's the final season, but everything that I've read leads towards it's going to go out with a bang, and I can't wait to watch it.
awesome.
Over with Star Wars, the only piece of news this week is it sounds like there's going to be a Cal Kestis live action project on Disney Plus. And for people who don't necessarily know who that is, he's the character from the Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order games. And he is canon to the overall Star Wars universe. So it's cool that we're going to get that character to live action. And I am not thinking of the actor's name, the guy that played the Joker character on Gotham, that young kid. He's the live action model and the voice as the character in the game. So I wonder if they'll use
Yeah.
that actor in the show or movie that they make. That would make sense.
Well, that would be really stupid not to.
I know. But that's going to be cool. I'm always happy about more Star Wars stuff. Let's see. Last few things here on the list. We have to say a quick rest in peace to Dame Maggie Smith, who passed away at age 89. You might know her as Wendy from Hook, or Professor McGonagall from Harry Potter, or the Dowager on Downton Abbey, or who knows what else you might have watched. But she was awesome, and may she rest in
Yeah.
peace.
Yeah, now all like three professors and Hagrid are all together now.
Yeah. We also lost Chris Christopherson this week. He was 88.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that just happened as well.
When did that happen?
I think that might have even happened. Well, no, that happened since Maggie Smith. So
Oh,
they were
okay.
both around the same couple of days.
I was working like a lot the last couple of days. I just must have completely missed it. Man, that's a bummer. I
Yeah,
actually like really like him
he's
as
pretty
an
cool.
actor
And he's a musician.
and a musician, like a folk musician. But he's in this movie and it's spooky season, so it's pretty good time to watch it. It's called The Jacket.
Yeah,
It's a psychological thriller. And he plays this like bad doctor. But yeah, you should check him out in that. He's pretty diabolical.
yep. Let's see. In the past, we talked about that new Hellboy, the Crooked Man movie. I don't know if listeners knew this, but that movie is not coming to the theaters in the United States. They've opted to only send it straight to video on demand. I don't know if
Wait,
that's
what?
yeah. So it's releasing for a very brief release period in the UK only. And that, I believe it was September 29th when it released in the UK. And on October 7th, it's going to go straight to video demand in America. And yeah, it's not even going to come to the theaters. So I wonder if that's not a good sign.
I wonder if that's just because the last Hellboy movie did so poorly.
It could be. I heard that this is the scariest Hellboy movie that has been out. So
Also, like how the book is, because
yeah.
that's what like the first time I like saw the trailer for it, I was like, man, that really looks like Hellboy. Like it looked like what's his face's drawings.
Yeah. Let's see. The Last of Us season 2 trailer came out. Did you get a chance to see that?
Who did?
It just looks like they're going to pick right back up and it's probably going to be just as good. I really enjoyed that show.
Yeah,
And that's coming from someone who's never played the games, so the game had no
it's
impact on my feelings about it.
it's not gonna change it.
Yeah.
The thing is about this movie is like every show, movie, game, whatever. is that it ends in a bad way.
So the
And
show probably will too.
my guess is that everything's gonna go south, and it's like that's kind of like why The Last of Us is such like a pretty thing. And it's like that whole like beauty of tragedy kind of sad story kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful, but it's sad.
Yeah. Well, my last thing on the list here is the movie Anaconda is about to be rebooted, remade, and it's going to star Paul Rudd and Jack Black.
Shut up.
I know. The article I read didn't lean in towards if it's going to be funny or not, but you know with those two, it's going to at least have elements of humor in it.
Well, I mean the original one kind of did too. We watched it fairly recently. I don't think it was meant to be super serious.
Yeah. But
And if
hey,
it was, they missed the mark by a long
yeah.
shot.
But hey, they had me at Paul Rudd and Jack Black. I'm definitely going to watch it.
Yeah, everything with Steve in it. I'll see.
Yeah. Steve. That's so funny. Well, hey, last thing here, BadCon, October 12th, Kansas City. Look it up. Badcons.com. I think there's an S on it. Badcons.com. Go find them. We're going to be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. October 12th. But hey, as for us here at the Taylorverse, I've been Billy Taylor.
I'm Taylor Oxner.
And come back next week, guys. Same Taylor time, same Taylor channel.
Bye.
Bye.